Greetings and welcome to my new calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel. And today I'm going to once again discuss how difficult it is to fix an incorrigible mainstream academic. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how these people are beyond correction. They literally cannot be corrected. And as far as I know, that's one of the key definitions of crank. So I had some spare time, as you see in front of you here, and I decided to check out this link here, which is a link that my opponent in this debate claims is a proof, or rather a derivation of multiplication using abstract algebra. Well, I took abstract algebra at university and found it to be a most useless course, with the exception of a few theorems in abstract algebra and some linear algebra. I'd say it was a complete waste of time. So it points to this theorem here, which is a localization theorem, and he says let A be a commutative ring with unity, and of course I'm not going to explain these things, but you can look them up. And he says, let S be a proper subset of A and be multiplicatively closed with 0 not an element of S. And then there exists a localization of A at S, and then we have the proof, which is down here. Well, this, by the way, is not even a proof at all, as you're about to see. So let's go to the document and see what's happening here, okay? So, what's pretty hilarious is how many of these definitions in the articles, and I'll give you a link to this a document too that I'm reading out of so that you can read it at your own pace, is that the definitions are taken for granted. So for example, you'll notice how telling and deceptive the phrase with no element 0 is stated. So if you had to ask your idiot mainstream lecturer of abstract algebra why 0 is omitted, his or her response might be, that's the definition, just use it. Well, actually, the stupid reptile already knows he will be using fractions in his derivation by abstract algebra, so he wants to avoid division by 0. Oh, he might give you another excuse, such as, well, if we leave 0 in, it's not interesting, so that's why we want to remove it. I mean, there are many hand-waving excuses. So instead of proof here, I've written spoof, because this here is not a proof at all, okay? So it's a statement of a well-known and already circular, it is already circular. It's a statement of a well-known fact and is already circular because it assumes that A over B is equal to S over T. Okay, this statement here simply means it's an equivalence relation, and it could be one of many different types of relations, not necessarily this relation specified here, which is a relation of proportion that is known from geometry. Okay, so you can't simply write this down here and say that this is the proof that multiplication is defined in abstract algebra. I mean, I can't think of anything more stupid. And the individual who states this is actually, or he claims to be a master's graduate of mathematics in Sweden, a guy called Zelos Melem. I've never met such an idiot in my life, but this guy is truly an idiot, totally beyond reason, cannot be corrected, and certainly beyond any hope. I wouldn't hold my breath that he would ever understand even what he claims to understand. So stating a fact of geometry is not a proof, it is a given. That's all that happens in the above localization proof in quotes. So, you know, a commutative ring is one where the multiplication operation is commutative. In other words, the order of the operands can be changed and the result will be the same element. The phrase with unity means that one is included as an element of A. Whatever element in set means, because set theory is by and large a bunch of crap. So through such mental masturbation, they arrive in that link that I showed you, this link here, they arrive at lemma 1, which assumes multiplication has already been defined, but nowhere does this happen prior to the lemma. Okay? And of course, not only multiplication has been defined, but the entire theory of fractions, which comes from geometry, people. There is no way you could know that A over B times C over D is equal to AC over BD in algebra. There's no way you could know that. Okay? You know it from geometry. So the purpose of the proof was to show that a localization exists. Okay? And then, of course, the localization is stated, and then the comical proof. So one has to realize that localization is just a fancy term for introducing denominators to a given ring or module. Denominators are assumed without any prior definition of fraction. That's really incredible, you know. And if you read the link, it says that the pairs, for example, the pairs AS and BT can be related in so many different ways, of which none have anything to do with the proportional equality that is stated in the equivalence relation right here. Okay, that is A over B is equal to S over T. That is the proportional equality. It doesn't get more crankier than this, folks. But the art of hand waving is what you might call an art which the morons have mastered. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but generally, just to explain what is an equivalence relation, the relation is equal to, or the equal sign is one such example on objects that are the same in every possible way. So given that X, Y, and Z are objects, and in set theory they'd be sets or elements, who knows what the hell, because neither set nor element is defined, X equals X means the relation is reflexive. Wow. This is incredibly funny because an object is always equal to itself, except perhaps in the rot of set theory. And then if X equals Y and then Y is equal to X, the equivalence relation is symmetrical. A pretty obvious statement, but again, in the rot of set theory, you have equivalence relations on subset operators. Okay? And then finally, transitivity. This last one is so hilarious because it was known by Euclid over 2,500 years. It's actually common notion one. Things that are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. So in the one line, quote, proof, end quote, above, there is no knowledge of what ATU means. The multiplication operation is assumed. But this makes academic morons imagine they're somehow more intelligent. They feel warm and fuzzy, memorizing all this worthless bullshit. So let me tell you, people, mathematics is the science of measure and number. A lot of the crap that you do in mathematics courses, such as real analysis, set theory, metric spaces, topology, that is not mathematics, okay? And I love what Kronecker once said of Cantor's gibberish, George Cantor's gibberish. Whatever it is therein is not mathematics. He was right. It's too bad that fools like David Hilbert and Bertrand Russell and the rest chose to ignore that advice. Set theorists don't even know or understand the meaning of measure, which is how the ancient Greeks realized number. So abstract algebra is not algebra at all, but a failed attempt to generalize algebra, which is a generalization of geometry and hence a weaker form of geometry. Why is algebra a generalization of geometry? Because all the knowledge that you have in geometry is transferred to algebra through the abstract unit. That's what is mentioned in Book 7 and Definition 1, where it defines the unit. Euclid didn't do a very good job of that, but I'm telling you about it now, so you know. Now I'd like to discuss this symbol here, which is called an Obelus. And it's been around since 1659. And most mathematicians don't know how this operation works. Okay, so for example, if you have 5 over 6 and it's a fraction, then you're looking at a denominator 6 which is greater than 5. So the stopping condition is reached. That is, the numerator is less than the denominator, so we can continue. You cannot, the obelus means subtract the denominator from the numerator until you can no longer subtract it. Okay, and you count the number of times. So the denominator, and if you have 6 over 5, the denominator 5 is less, so you can subtract the denominator 6 until the remainder is less, and you end up with this result here, 1 plus 1/5. You can read what's written in the paragraph. I'm running out of time. I only have 15 minutes, so I need to speed up. And then, of course, the operation works on arithmetic in the sense that mainstream academics understand it as a division operator, and exactly the same way, with the exception that numerator and denominator are considered separately, that is, as numbers not part of the same fraction. And so I explain those details again in those paragraphs, and it should be noted that P/Q or P vinculum Q does not mean P divided by Q. These three literals are parts of the symbol, of this symbol or this symbol, that is a name of a well-formed number. Any division has already taken place. This is a subtlety not realized by any human after Euclid and before me, or let's say any human that lived close to the time of Euclid. So the Greek word Obelus means skewer or spit. You know, that metal rod, or that metal or sharp pointed rod that you place a pig on, or a lamb or something, and you roast it over a fire while rotating it. So the Obelus operation is derived from the Euclidean algorithm for finding the greatest common denominator. And I've created a video here to which you'll find a link in the document, and you can go and watch it. And I'm not going to discuss that. So in the remainder of this article, I describe how academia missed the brilliant derivation of number in the elements of Euclid. And what I basically show you here is that a very quick and brief compilation number. You start off with a ratio of magnitudes, and of course a magnitude is just the idea of size, dimension, or extent, nothing else. And you build up gradually to a number. So I'd like to end this thing off now by saying that unless mathematics is formulated on well-formed concepts, eventually no one understands it. Not even those who have spent decades developing theory that has gone absolutely nowhere. And this has been the case, by the way, in the last 50, 60 years. You just have these mainstream professors who sit on Abel Prize committees rewarding themselves for the bullshit that they call research, okay? It has gone nowhere. It will go nowhere. It's absolute nonsense. And it discourages students from studying mathematics, the real mathematics. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and that you'll join me again sometime. If you're not already a subscriber, become a subscriber. Click like on the channel, because there are many hostile subscribers on my channel. In fact, even before I publish the video, I find 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 dislikes, which is quite amazing. What this tells me is that even the employees at YouTube are disliking my videos as soon as they're uploaded, which is pretty strange. I don't understand that. Anyway, download my free ebook, spread the word. I do know better than everyone else, people. I really do. I am smarter than anyone else where mathematics is concerned. So I urge you not to believe me, but to study what I tell you, and to look at the links and look at my articles. I've written hundreds of articles. Watch my videos, and you'll see that I do know better. Well, till next time, this is New Calculus Channel. I'm John Gabriel. Goodbye.